Hey everybody, I want to talk about sort of the mechanics behind what happens when a narcissist or borderline escalates endlessly. I touched on this in my video about regulators. Mount up. But let's talk about why the escalation. Why do they do this? Why do they, if they don't get what they want, they escalate, right? In one way you think, well, it's because they want something and that's their way of getting stuff. And that is pretty accurate. Accurate. Not the full picture. So yeah, they rage to pummel you into submission. The borderline rages for a different reason. The borderline rages because when they're injured, when they receive an emotional injury, they lack a structured means of recovering from the injury. This is a hallmark of splitting. Splitting is sort of the layman term for someone who has a deficit in whole object relations and object constancy. Splitting means somebody who they're either all good, all bad. You're either my friend or my foe. You're for me or against me. There's no middle ground. They tend to not be able to perceive people as a simultaneous mix of good and bad. It's sort of like if you buy the example I give and others is you buy a rotisserie chicken from the store and you're like, man, this looks like a delicious chicken. Look at all that juicy meat. You get home, you start, tearing into your chicken. You start eating your chicken and boom, you bite a bone and you're like, oh, well, I didn't expect that. But whatever, I mean, I still like you stole my chicken, and they keep eating the chicken. And inevitably, if they're trying to eat the whole damn chicken, starts off where they're eating a lot of the juicy meat, they're enjoying the meat, and then they hit a bone, and then another bone. And eventually there is a bone to meat ratio that they will encounter, in which there's more bones than meat. And now they're mad because they started off thinking that it was this nice, meaty, juicy chicken, and now they have this carcass, right? Like on the African Serengeti plains. And now it's just like, damn, like, I had a juicy chicken, like I thought you were a juicy chicken, but no, you're just bones, right? And that's the campaign of denigration that follows. I shouldn't say campaign of denigration, that comes from parental alienation syndrome. It's a poorly defined term. Watch some of Dr. Craig Childress's videos. You'll see him tear that term apart. But in any case, why? So that's the mechanics behind narcissistic borderline disorders. But with the escalation, see, because somebody's either your friend or your foe, and no middle ground, neither disorder has the ability to resolve the injury, right? They cannot, they can't just get over it. They don't have that ability, which is why they hold grudges, right? They hold grudges because they lack the ability to recover emotionally. They ain't got it. Plain and simple. They can't do it. So what they do, with borderlines, the way they cope with it by stirring up drama. Because when you stir up drama, you do several things. Number one, the fact that the core of these disorders is low self-esteem, low self-worth, feeling like you're a piece of shit and you're not worth anybody's time, effort, and energy. You have this very low opinion, right? So when they get injured, and they think, the attention's on me, too many eyes are on me, people will realize what a giant piece of shit I am and they'll leave. Borderlines have a very a pathological fear of abandonment, and they may not even really fully recognize that for what it is, but they act in a manner that, you know, they want to keep these people in their life, because with borderlines, they have to have others to help them regulate emotionally. They have to have others to help resolve situations. If they don't, they stay mad for days, weeks, months, years. So they depend a lot on others for conflict resolution. So when they start escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating, it's because eventually, if they piss off enough people, or they piss off somebody enough, the other people will resolve the situation for them, and take care of all that. So then they don't have to worry about it, because they are worried about it because they can't do it themselves. Whether or not they know it is another thing. That's why they do it. And this is why you see some people that just drama follows them wherever they go. And you know these people that create the drama around them. They're using it as a camouflage, and they're using it as a means of adaptation, a means of coping. And a big part of it, there seems to be this very fundamental belief in the concept of karma, which, I mean, everybody believes in karma, but with the escalating and stirring up drama, it's an attempt to manually inflict karma onto somebody, because when they do that, that's kind of sort of their way of resolving the situation. That's their way of recovering from the injury. They stir up enough drama until they're satisfied that enough karma has been rained down upon whoever injured them. And then they see that as a resolution. So they're very eye for an eye. They're very revenge oriented, but they'll never say revenge. They hide behind the term karma. There's one reason why anytime you hear somebody say, "I'm a big believer in karma," keep your eyes open around that person, because yeah, most people do believe in karma. Not to the point where they brag about it. Like, I'm the biggest karma believing motherfucker on the face of the planet. Like, so? I mean, good for you. You want a trophy? I mean, should I bake you a sheet of cookies for that? Like, I mean, what is it you're looking for? Right? That's what they're looking for. They create the drama for a camouflage. They create the drama for emotional regulation. And they create the drama for resolution through karma delivered by the people around them. With a narcissist, it's very, very similar, except they're doing it, the magnum opus of a narcissistic abuse cycle. The magnum opus is the algebraic proof that they are still superior and that you are inferior. The conflict resolution, the resolution for them comes the moment their superiority is proven. These are the type of people where you have to say, yeah, no, you're right. You know, the people that get locked onto something and they can't let it go, and if they don't get that affirmation, they stay locked on it, because it's like, you know, inferiority alert, People are going to realize you're inferior. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. Help, help, help. I don't want to look like an idiot. Help. You know, that's kind of sort of the alarm bells that ring in their head, consciously or subconsciously. Doesn't really matter. That's what's going on. They're the ones that the second where you have to say, yeah, no, you know what, you're right, but let it go. That whole little, yeah, you're right. That's their medicine, and then they can calm down, because that's the narcissist path to injury resolution, right? So if you're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic, and they're causing their drama, the simple path is saying, no, you're right, but it's not worth it right now, okay? You're right. I know you're right. Can we get back to eating turkey? Nothing makes a narcissist happier than proving superiority over the Thanksgiving dinner. Right? The borderline's path to resolution is more of the quote-unquote karma-based revenge delivery. The eye for the eye, the tooth for the tooth. The whole, you got what you deserved. Borderlines are more likely to blame others for their feelings and emotions. It's your fault, I'm mad. You know? Or they say something, you just did this to piss me off on purpose, didn't you? You know, they're like, if you want to mess with me, you're going to be sorry. You're going to be sorry you ever messed with me. They're the ones that put responsibility for their feelings, emotions, and behaviors and reactions. They make all of those things somebody else's responsibility. It's like, okay, it's like they're on a conveyor belt for life, and it's like apparently they, according to their logic, they are everybody else's puppet. And when the puppet does something bad, it's because of the people pulling the strings. So they go through life blaming everybody else for their behaviors and their reactions. You know, I saw a perfect example of this. Look up a video where there's it's a fight on a bus. This lady goes out of control, starts screaming at the bus driver. Her and the bus driver are fighting and arguing. She hits the bus driver, and he's had enough. He stops the bus. He gets up, and he just plants a savage uppercut right on this girl. Well, there's an interview that they did with this girl after the fact. And when she's explaining her behavior, she's saying, you know, before I got on the bus, you know, I was already having a bad day type stuff. And she said, and then I got on the bus and I was going to get my change out, my money out, and I couldn't find my money. And well, it's like I had the money, I was just digging for it. And he lost his patience with me and started bitching at me and called me a hoe. So she goes, I had no choice but to defend myself. Yeah, you did. You had a choice not to hit somebody and not to escalate endlessly, because when you have that pattern of endless escalation in search of somebody to put on a red cape and S and swoop in to save your day, and you continually escalate, you run out of room between resolution and assault. So, yeah, I had no choice but to defend myself. Yeah, you did. You just climbed the escalation ladder all the way up to the top, had nowhere else to go but to hit someone. Well, that's your own damn fault. I'm out of time. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on another video.